Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today we are going to talk about excretion in human beings as well as plants. Now, what is the excretory organ of the human beings? The excretory organ is our kidney, and we all know about this. We have studied about kidney from in our junior classes as well. Now, where does the kidney lie? The kidney lies on the two sides of the backbone. So the backbone that you have, there are two kidneys adjacent to the backbone, one here and one here. These are behind your abdominal cavity. Okay, so these are the two positions where the kidneys lie. So what does the kidney do? The kidney actually filters the blood in your body. So whatever blood is present, the blood will be filtered with the help of kidney. Now the kidney itself as a whole does not do the work. For this, kidneys have some units called nephrons. These nephrons are the structural units of the kidney, and these nephrons are the ones which are responsible for the filtration process. Now, how does the filtration process take place? What are nephrons? What do they look like? Now, nephrons are very minute, very tiny parts of the kidney, and there are about 1.2 million nephrons are present in one kidney. So we have two kidneys. So in each kidney, around 1.2 nephrons are present. 1.2 million actually, 1.2 million nephrons are present. Okay, so what does the nephron do? How does it work? So the blood that is passed on from the body into the kidney, the blood is actually passed on, means inside the kidney, it is passed on to the nephron. So let's see how the nephron works. Let us draw a very basic diagram of the nephrons so that it becomes really easy for you to understand. So at the beginning, at the top, we have a cup-like structure which is called the Bowman's capsule. Now this Bowman's capsule is actually connected to a long tube. Okay, it's a long tube is there which is very entangled and then joins to something. There is a pipe called the collecting duct. Now this tube, okay, so it's something like this, a very basic structure. Now in this cup is called the Bowman's capsule. Now in this cup we have a something that is a mesh-like structure. This mesh-like structure is actually the filtrating part. This is where the blood will be filtered. So what happens here is we have our arteries coming in here. These are called the renal arteries. So the renal arteries will carry the oxygen rich blood which is come from the body. So the heart pumps the blood moves to different cells, provides it with the different oxygen that is required by the cells for respiration. Then by collecting all the debris from each of the cells, the blood comes and enters the kidney. Inside the kidney, it encounters nephron. Now in the nephron, this is a whole structure of the nephron, and in the nephron these arteries will come in, and the arteries will enter this cup like structure which is called the Bowman's capsule. Okay, so we have Bowman's capsule here. Here this mesh like structure is called the glomerulus. Okay, so glomerulus is actually the filtrating unit. As I said, it is a mesh like structure, means it forms meshy structure like this. Okay, so that when the blood enters through this, it goes inside this, the debris are trapped inside the mesh like structure. So a meshy structure will be like this, the blood will enter and the debris will be caught in the mesh like structure. Okay, then the renal artery will carry the blood outside. Now whatever has been trapped inside, so the renal artery will enter and it will move out, carrying the blood forward. Now this whatever has been trapped inside will actually move in through the tube. This tube is called the renal tubule. Through the renal tubule, the liquid which contains the products, the waste products, will pass on to this tube. This duct is called the collecting duct. So what actually happens in this tubule? Here we have understood that glomerulus is actually the filtrating unit. It will filter out the harmful or the waste products or toxic products. For example, urea, which is one of the waste products of the body. So what happens in this tubule? Now, whenever there is a filtration here, some of the important components that are required by the body are actually passed into this tubular structure. For example, some sort of protein, amino acids, or you may say some sugar molecule, or some fats and lipids, or some minerals, or vitamins. These things may leak out into this tube. So what happens inside this tube? The major function of this tube is to reabsorb whatever essential components have passed on to the tube. So reabsorption of every essential nutrient as well as water, so that excess water is not passed out through the urine. So whatever urine we produce is actually a very concentrated form of the urine. The excess water, whatever passes through, is reabsorbed by the walls of this tubule. Okay, so after the whole process, that's why this tubule is such a long and such a twisted one, because it gives more time to the urine to actually allow for the reabsorption of the important particles. So after this, it enters this duct called the collecting duct, from where it will ultimately connect to the urethra. Okay, or the, I mean, before that it connects to our bladder, urinary bladder. From bladder it will move to urethra, and ultimately you will pass the urine out of your body. So this is how a nephron functions. A very basic structure. Here we have a cup like structure, a glomerulus which will help in filtrating. The renal arteries will come in and it will allow the blood to enter the glomerulus. After this has taken place, the blood after that the blood after filtration, actually the remaining blood passes on to the renal veins. You will see in the diagram that there are some venular structures also, means veins are there. So the blood that is filtered here is passed on through the renal veins. So the veins will carry the carbon dioxide rich blood back into the heart, and from there it will move on to the lungs and we will breathe it out. So renal arteries will bring the blood in to the nephron, and renal veins will take the blood out. So entry through arteries, exit through veins. Okay, that is the function of the arteries and veins. So this is how the nephrons take place, and that is how the excretion system in human beings take place. Now let us look into our next part, that is the excretion in plants. So in case of plants, what happen? Now for plants, excretion of different components take place, and some of these components are, for example, we have carbon dioxide that has to be excreted, we have excess water that has to be excreted, and we have some stored food components or stored waste components. Okay, so how does the carbon dioxide excrete the body? Through stomata, obviously. We know this. The carbon dioxide produced by the plant means during respiration. This carbon dioxide production is during respiration. You can also include oxygen, which is produced during photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide and oxygen are released through the stomata. This water, excess water present in the plant, not the water required, the excess water present in the plant is also passed through stomata, and this process is called the transpiration process, right? You know about this. The excess water is lost through transpiration using the stomata. Stored wastes are generally stored in the vacuoles. Whatever toxic components are present, means plants store their food in vacuoles. So whatever waste product is produced is also stored in the vacuoles. These vacuoles means whenever some vacuoles contain waste products, the leaves containing these vacuoles will fall off. Falling off of leaves will take place. So if any cell inside the leaf contains these waste products inside the vacuoles, then the leaves will actually fall off. They will dry out and they will fall off from the plant, so that the waste product is excreted from the body. So three types of excretion take place here: oxygen, carbon dioxide through the stomata, water through stomata, process is called respiration, and ultimately the waste products or the toxic products that are produced in the plant are stored in the vacuoles of the cells, and the leaves containing these vacuoles will fall off from the plant, so that the waste product is removed from the plant body. So that is how excretion takes place in both human beings and in plants. And that is where we come to the end of this chapter. The explanation part is over. I hope you have understood what we have talked about here. If you have any confusion, be sure to ask me in the comment section. I'll be there to help you out. And thank you everyone for watching, and until next time, cheers.